Let me introduce you to Pamela Reed, and she is based in New York City, the borough of Brooklyn. So she is Brooklyn Farm Girl.
And we have some people checking in from New York and New Jersey and Michigan. I'm so happy to see all these people all throughout the country.
Yes. So let's take it over to Pamela to learn more about urban gardening.
Hey, I'm Pamela from Brooklyn Farm Girl, and welcome to Brooklyn. I'm really excited to be here with you to get you excited about spring gardening because I'm pretty excited about gardening too. These plants need to get outside. And I know if you live in the Northeast, probably like earlier this week, you were like, this still feels like winter, right? But fingers crossed, spring is coming. So just a little bit about me. I'm Pamela. And I've been a urban city gardener for almost 20 years now. Me, my husband, my family, we've grown in kind of every situation from indoors to not having any space outdoors, to fully being part of a lovely community garden now. And I'm really here to talk about and to encourage and excite urban gardening, no matter how small your space is, even if you don't have a space, even if you just have a little spot on your windowsill. Get that cilantro growing, girl. Get that basil growing. You can really grow so much in a small space, no matter if you live in a city, no matter if you don't have a backyard. No one has a backyard. Come on. So I'm here to talk about growing in small spaces. And hopefully that gets you excited to get out there and start growing your own food if you live in an urban environment. A little bit about kind of all the years that we've been growing. So in the very beginning, we started growing on our rooftop. Our apartment building has this massive roof. And if you go up to the rooftops in a city, you'll realize that they're not used for anything. Could you imagine if all those spaces were green spaces? Like, how amazing would that be, right? So, like every gardening adventure starts, I'm sure you know, it starts out with a few pots, right? You're like, I'm gonna grow a pepper plant. I'm gonna grow a cucumber plant. I'm gonna grow some herbs. And then like 2 years later, you have like a cornfield on your roof, right? So that's really how it was for us. And it really opened up the love of city gardening for us. Some little pros and cons of rooftop gardening if maybe you want to take that step. First of all, just like right out the door here, get permission if you don't own your building. Get permission from your landlord. Make sure the roof is sturdy and safe. Okay. Once you got the go ahead, just understand that you got to get all that stuff up there to the roof. It is definitely for the love of gardening. I can't tell you how many times every spring we had to replenish these big garden beds that we made on the roof and just lugging all this potting mix and soil up to the roof. Also, don't forget that the rooftop gets really hot, right? So the plants are going to get dry really quick up on the rooftop. What we experimented in and really kind of fell in love with, and we still use this even in the community bed now, which is we started making sub-irrigated planters, which are basically like big totes, big like plastic bins, and they have a like a wick system where the water goes to the bottom and then it rises and waters the roots. And so it waters from the bottom and goes to the top. And this ensures that your roots are always wet, they're always moist, they're not going to dry out. And we've had really great success with sub-irrigated planters on our rooftop because, like I said, it got really, really hot and really, really quick. So we did rooftop gardening for a while. And then we took like a 2-year hiatus where we were like, let's get a little place upstate New York and start growing up there, only on the weekends because we didn't want to leave. We're like Brooklyn for life. And so we got this little place upstate, just land, no house, no anything. And we just made this big garden. It was literally, we just bought land to garden on. And we would go up there for the weekends. We would drive up, we would just garden. We had this like big container that we would just sleep in at night. We would basically just camp. And then we would get back in a car on Sunday and we would drive back to Brooklyn. Really, like it was just about gardening for us. And that was really, really fun. And it was full of adventures that I'm so happy that my husband and I got to share together. It was a lot of hard work. It was such fun. But we realized that we really loved spending time in the city, gardening in the city. Like our heart was with urban gardening. We liked the challenge of growing in the city. We also had kids, and that made it a little hard to go up on the weekends. So we came back to the city, and then we got part of our local neighborhood community garden. And that's pretty much changed everything. If you are thinking about becoming a part of a community garden, do it. It is such an amazing space to be part of. It is like the coolest thing in the summer to have all these people just in the garden growing all these interesting vegetables and plants, the things that I've never heard of. And a woman will come over to me and show me these squashes that I've never seen and ways to cook them. And then she'll like go pick some for me and give them to me. And then I'll find something from my bed and I'll give them to her. It is so cool. And I know that community gardens are a hot ticket. I know they're hard to get part of. I'm constantly asked, how do I join the community garden? There's like 100-person wait list. I know. Step one, get on the wait list. No matter like how long it is, just join it, right? It's better to be on it now. Two, even if you can't get a private space to grow in the community garden, ask them if you can just be part of the garden. Ask them if you can just show up on the weekends and help other people garden. Help the compost people. Compost is awesome. All right. So like help the people with the flower beds or the herb beds, or just become of that space, just become part of that community, even if you don't have a private bed. Because I can also tell you that if you are there every Saturday helping out, people are going to give you lots of vegetables. And who doesn't like free vegetables, right? All right, so spring for us. Like I said, it felt really, really cold a few days ago, actually. But we have our spring vegetables ready to move outside. I have a list here of everything we're growing for spring. Again, I'm in Brooklyn, so I am zone 7B. 7B, represent. This year we're growing onions. You can see where's our onions. Oh, I didn't bring them over. Our onions are over there. We have kale. I love kale. It's my lunch every day. We got some broccoli in the house back there. We got the Brussels sprouts right there, and our cabbage. We also are growing peas, carrots, and then in early May, we also plant our potatoes. So that is our list of spring vegetables. And I'm really excited, and my family is so excited. We have 2 daughters, Enceladus and Proxima. We like space. And it makes me so happy to have these 2 city kids. They are the definition of city kids. But they know, because they've been at the garden literally since I've been wearing them as a baby. And they know where their food comes from. My oldest can tell you how to grow a Brussels sprout like you would not. She goes into details. She helps me dig up the potatoes every August. It's so cool for her to just show up, pick some peas, go to the table, prepare like her little snack. It's just so cool to have that space. And I feel so lucky that I am able to have a family in the city, but still have that feeling, that connection to nature, to growing their own food, to getting their hands dirty. My kids are filthy every weekend from soil. Like their clothing, their face has mud on it, their nails, and I love that. I love that we can go to the garden on the weekend and just dig stuff up, plant stuff. And my kids get to be part of seeing from seed to the table, because I also love cooking. Brooklyn Farm Girl. All right, so one last thing I wanted to show you guys before I head out was the products that I use to start everything from seed indoors. So everything we grow, we start from seed. And that's done for two reasons. One, it's lots of fun. It's lots of fun growing from seed. But two, it's budget friendly. You know, like this packet of cucumbers here, $1.99. Like, you know how much if you went to a greenhouse and bought like a pack of 12 plants would cost, right? So when you're growing, you know, 10, 20, 30, 40, you do you, things, you can imagine how pricey it can get. So seeds. So what I like to use is the Jiffy greenhouse. And these come with like these little pelts already. But you can also fill this up with potting mix. I just drop the seeds in. Step one, decide what you want to grow and how many. That is the hardest choice, right? Should I grow 20 kale plants or should I grow 48 kale plants? 48, right? It's always 48. So decide what you want to grow, how many, and it's as easy as, if you're going to use potting mix in one of these greenhouses, just fill it up, poke holes, and then put seeds in. We like to use the greenhouse lid that this comes with, put it on top. Now here's the secret to getting amazing plants from seeds. And we do this all the time, and we pretty much have like a 100% germination rate for our seeds. And I'm really proud of that because it's taken a lot of work. But we started using a heat mat a few years ago, and it's just changed how we grow from seed. The seeds, just having the mat improves the process from the seeds and from the very beginning so well. Within like 2 or 3 days, the seeds pop up and you'll see your little seedling so quickly. So after we put the greenhouse lid on this, then we put it on a heat mat. We have a bunch of heat mats because we have so many plants growing, and we use it. So I would definitely, if you're starting to grow from seed and you haven't been using a heat mat, get yourself one or a couple. And then maybe like a month and a half later, so like these plants there and these plants there and these plants there, they need bigger homes. You can see they're like growing out of their homes and they're ready to move outdoors. So what I will do is I will fill up these little peat pots with a mix, and I will just pick these out, plant them one by one, and then they're ready to move outside. So those are products that I use. I'm really, really excited to get growing for the summer, the spring. There'll be lots of tomatoes, and you can see I got my favorite tomatoes here. Jelly bean tomatoes, try them if you haven't. But I really hope that you liked this little thing. If you want to learn more about city growing, check out me, Brooklyn Farm Girl. I'm on all the socials, so check me out. Also, just drop a comment. Is it down below? Is it to the side? I don't know. You can figure it out. But let me know what you're growing this spring and in the summer. And yeah, it was really nice to spend some time with you. Fingers crossed. Spring is coming. I promise.